Earlier this week, I heard a story. I had heard that folks out in the East County and the unincorporated areas were having their fire policy not renewed. So, weren't getting renewed, which is a bad time to not get renewed as we head into the summer and the fall months when the highest fire danger tends to occur. But I heard that Senator Brian Jones was on it, was helping people out, and I wanted to get to the bottom of it, and he joins us now. Brian, how you doing?
Hello?
Hey, Brian, can you hear me?
I can.
Awesome, Brian. So what's going on? How did you first hear about this with folks not getting their policy renewed?
Well, it's actually almost personal to me. My best friend who lives in Santee in one of the newer neighborhoods, this exact thing happened to him. And so I think a year ago he got his notice, and it's important to clarify, and you mentioned it properly opening the series, but some people think they're getting canceled. They're not really getting, the official term is they're not getting renewed. Now, of course, as the customer, the effect is you're getting canceled. I understand that. But what's actually happening is the insurance companies are sending notices out that they're not renewing their homeowners insurance because these particular homes are in an area that have a particular fire risk.
And have you or has anybody talked to any of these insurance companies and said, hey guys, what are we supposed to do?
Well, there's lots of conversations up here this year, Miles, as you are probably aware of, regarding the wildfires from last year. You know, we're trying to get through the PG&E bankruptcy. From what I understand, there will be language out today or tomorrow regarding the governor's plan for that. So this is an all-encompassing conversation up here. One of the things today that I kind of hit on with one of my colleagues, there's a lot of brain power in Sacramento right now trying to solve this fire risk, mitigating the expenses of the fire insurance. And then I just asked the question, well, has anybody thought to actually go manage the forests and get rid of the dead trees and, actually control the fuel load of the forest? Oh, that's kind of a good idea. And for some reason, the folks that are in charge up here are just kind of ignoring that plea of, let's just go manage. We got to solve these financial problems for sure. But in the meantime, we've got to overcome some of these environmental policies that don't work and actually go manage the forests. So that's one thing. The second thing is a lot of these non-renewals are happening in places where a single particular insurance company are what's called overexposed. So, for example, up in the Sky Ranch area of Santee or the Eucalyptus Hills of Lakeside or Scripps Ranch area, confined, defined communities, there might have been, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, a really enterprising insurance agent for one particular company that sold a lot of policies in that one neighborhood. Well, those insurance companies want to lower their risk and spread it out throughout the throughout the state rather than be focused in one single community. So that's some of the non-renewals. We have not heard of anybody yet that once they got one of those non-renewals that was not able to find new insurance.
Okay, that's good. And have you been, because I had heard that you had been helping people, your office as well, been helping people. So if people get that letter, which I know people have been, are you working with people to help them out?
Absolutely. The first thing I would encourage people to do that are listening now, if they have that letter already or if they get that letter, and they'll probably be going out throughout the summer. My understanding is most insurance companies are sending them out 4 months ahead of time before the renewal date. So that should give most constituents, most customers 4 months to solve the problem. First thing is call your current insurance company and say, hey, I got this notice. Is there something I can do to renew? And they may get a checklist from their insurance company that allows them to stay insured with that check or with that company, or the company may say, no, we're pulling out of this area completely, or we're reducing our exposure in this area. we are not going to renew under any circumstances. So, believe it or not, the Department of Insurance in California has a really good website that has a list of 10 items that people should go step by step to solve the challenge if they do get one of those notifications.
Fantastic. Senator Brian Jones represents the 38th Senate District. Brian, what's going on? What's the latest up in Sacramento? What are you doing?
Well, one more thing before I answer that question on the fire contact stuff. If they need to get a hold of my office, we're ready. We're able. We'll help them out. They can email me at senator.jones@sen.ca.gov, or they can call the office 619-596-3136. Or if you just Google Senator Brian Jones, my Wikipedia page comes up first. After the second hit should be how to get a hold of me. And get a hold of my office, and we'll certainly help.
Fantastic.
We are in one of the high fire zones in California, so we want to make sure that all of our constituents are covered properly with their homeowners insurance. Beyond that, we're actually marching towards the end of session. The House of Origin deadline was 3 weeks ago, so all of the Senate bills had to be out of the Senate, and all the Assembly bills had to be out of the Assembly. So all of my bills are over in the Senate right now. I had 2 bills pass out of appropriations today, so they are on the Assembly floor getting ready for votes there. I have 1 bill that's passed the Assembly, is sitting on the governor's desk, and we're waiting for that signature, and hopefully he signs it. So the legislature, the majority party, passed a $213 billion spending plan last week, and that met the deadline for June 15th. But after that comes all the trailer bills that actually spends the money. So it's an interesting procedure up here on the budget that the majority party has found a way to pass a budget that doesn't really have any specifics in it so that we comply with the proposition on the majority vote budget and the June 15th deadline. So the legislators can get their paychecks, but they take the next 3 weeks to actually pass the bills that specify how the money's to get spent. And in addition to that, they slip a bunch of policy stuff into those bills that didn't pass committee or failed previously or was vetoed by the prior governor. So the saying up here in Sacramento is, no bad idea is ever dead. It always comes back in another form at a later date.
So you'll get a bill one time, or you'll see that come through, and you're going, "Gosh, I saw that 3 years ago, and that failed, and now it's back coming on through." Brian?
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you, as one of the lone Republicans in the state, how do you get anything on the governor's desk? I mean, I'm talking anything. How do you get it that far there?
Well, it's a couple of things. When citizens and the voters of California are asking for bipartisan cooperation in Sacramento, well, I can tell you every Republican bill that passes the legislature and gets to the governor's desk is a bipartisan bill. So people go, that's kind of good. Well, yeah, because we can't get a bill to the governor's desk without Democrat votes. There's not enough of us to do it. So, and even more than half of the Democrat bills have Republican support too, so they're bipartisan. It's just the extreme stuff, that the Republicans don't support that gets the governor's desk that's not bipartisan.
Sure.
So how do I get stuff passed and through both houses and to the governor's desk? It's relationships that I've taken the last 8 years to build here with members of the majority party that trust me and know me. And I try to bring bill ideas that I know are going to garner support from the majority party and get them passed to the desk. And Miles, to be quite clear with you and honest with you, Republicans aren't passing bills to stop taxes. We're not passing bills that have drastic regulation reform. We're inch by inch doing regulation reform, a little bite here, a little bite there. But if Republicans were in charge, most of the complaints that you hear about the legislature in Sacramento, we could turn that around in, I think, 2 years or less. And we could really make California the golden state of opportunity that it's supposed to be. And it requires two things. Number one, it requires voters giving us a chance to do it. But before that, it requires us as Republicans statewide to come up with a message and a story to tell that resonates with voters, to earn their trust and have them give us the opportunity to be in charge.
Well, we can only hope. Senator Brian Jones. Brian, thanks for coming on. Thanks for fighting for the folks out in East County and staying on top of it. And I hope you're right, and I hope we do that 2 years and many years down the road as well.
Thanks, Miles.